Right, well it's review time again. But this review is going to be something a little different, because I have just reached 300 subscribers. Wow. 300 subscribers. Now I need to go for 400. There's no doubt in my mind I was going to say that. But wow. It has taken me an age to get to 300. But you know what they say, good things come to those who wait. And so I've got where I need to be, and I'm happy. To some people that have 600 or 700 subscribers, it may not seem a lot to them. But it's still a big step really, for this channel anyway. Now, a short while ago on Twitter, I said I was going to do a special video to commemorate 300 subscribers, and I do remember saying it in an announcement video on YouTube as well, once. However, I decided to do a review, simply because at the time I had 296 subscribers, and I couldn't really think of anything else. But respectively, I think a review is more suited to something like this, in my opinion. And so, a review of a new locomotive, it is. Because, well, I only seem to do reviews of new locomotives, but that's what I like to do. I like to show them off in this way. But the new loco I have here is going to be treasured. Well, all my locos are treasured, but you know what I mean. It's just that this one is so special. Now, you can't actually see at the moment what this model is, or who it's made by clearly on screen. That is because it's covered up with a white t-shirt, which is a bit odd. But for this video I thought, why not do something a little different? Why not I unveil it like a naming ceremony style? It isn't a naming ceremony, but I thought I'd do it in that style, you know, to make it a little bit different and to have it more of a surprise to those of you watching the review, if you know what I mean. So, let's pull back the white t-shirt and unveil the new locomotive that will be reviewed in this video in all its glory. Ta-da! Here it is, made by the one and only Bachmann, as you can see by the famous logo on the box there. And this loco is a steamer. Whee! I have had a break from buying steamers recently, because recently I've been buying more diesels. But even though I've been buying diesels recently, I still have more steamers than diesels, which is interesting. And this steamer is a WD Austerity 280. 280 is the wheel arrangement, and it's a freight loco, obviously. All 280s were. Also the 210 was a freight loco as well. I'm not 100% sure what Austerity is, but WD stands for War Department. And for those of you that don't know what War Department is, it was the UK government department responsible for the supply of equipment to the armed forces, and it was used to describe the military transport services of the War Department railways and War Department fleet. Hence why these were nicknamed WDs, because these were even in service during the war. They did see service after the war. The army bought several and had them running on the Longmoor military railway, known to you lot in short, the LMR. And they had 12 exported to Hong Kong, 1 to the States in America, and 184 to the Netherlands, which is odd. That was the 280s. There were also 210 WDs as well. With the 210s, they had 130 to the Netherlands, 4 to Syria, and 16 to Greece, which is quite interesting. Now, I'd like to just quickly point out, before I open the box, that the WD I have in my hands is not in British Railways black, as it shows in the photo. The photo is wrong, as it usually is. This livery this WD is in is actually going to be a livery that I dare say none of you, or most of you, will be familiar with. And so here we have the reference number, 32255A. WD Austerity. It's a 280, but it doesn't say that on the end of the box. and its running number is WW2, which clearly and obviously stands for World War II, because it's not going to stand for anything else, unless I'm wrong. You know the comment boxes, and I'm sure someone will correct me. And the livery it's in Khaki Desert sand. Now, what could that be? Well, I know what it is, you don't, so let's get this model open. Now, this model, by the way, before I forget, has come from S&J Models. It arrived early today, and I've only just got round to opening it, because earlier on it was tipping it down. But anyway, so here's the old Bachmann box, that strangely I find, when you take these polystyrene packaging chunks out, they are harder to get back in, which is interesting. But anyway, so we're not going to need the box. Here we have the card insert. Oh, we'll look at that in a bit. So here's the card insert. We have a sketch of a WD on the back, and we do get some brief history. I've already talked a little bit about the WDs already, so I won't say too much. But with the 280s, there's only one sole survivor, and that is number 90733 on the Keighley-Worth Valley Railway. And in fact, that is the one that's preserved, just in a different number. There are 10 of these 210s preserved, so there's more 210 versions than 280s preserved. Most notably being the 1600 Gordon, which is preserved at the Severn Valley Railway, static exhibit at the engine house in Highley. Now, it used to run, but it doesn't anymore. But you know, maybe one day she'll steam again. And I'm inclined to believe that number 90775 is on the North Norfolk Railway, repatriated from Greece, undergoing restoration. There's also one at the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, apparently, also undergoing restoration. And there's one at the Spoorweg Museum in Netherlands, on a static exhibit. There's 2 in Greece that are operational, 1 in Greece as a static exhibit, and there's actually 3 that have also been dumped in the same country, which is Greece. Why have they done that? And that is only mechanically complete. Let alone, they are also on the preserved list. That has made me really angry, that has. You don't just preserve locomotives and then dump them. Ugh. It's not the first time. There was 2 8Fs, I think it was in Turkey, and it was on the telly, that we went over to there, recovered them, and then brought them back to this country, in Britain. And they were undergoing restoration. I forget what name the programme was, but then I wasn't interested in the title. I was more interested in them recovering the 8Fs. Maybe we should do that with the WDs, because they deserve better than that. Come on. Ugh. Anyway. So, with the card chucked to one side, let's look at this. Here we go. So this is the spares list. As you can see. There's a lot of parts here. But anyway. So put that to one side. And there she is. Now you can already see the tender, the livery it's in. But you know, that's because it's not actually wrapped fully, but there you go. But before we take a look at the model, we'll look at the details. So here we have brake rods to fit under, well, in this case, 1 brake rod actually, to fit under the loco. We have a few brake pipes, which is to obviously fit on the loco and the tender, though in reality they would only be added if it was to pull passengers, because brake pipes work in a special way. What they do is, if a loco is pulling a passenger train, the brake pipes from the coaches will be connected to the locos. That is to help it brake, because otherwise if they're not connected, then they have no control over the locomotive and it cannot stop, basically. So there's a little lesson for you. Also we have these footsteps and cylinder drain cocks there. And I love the fact it's all painted in the same livery as the logo, which is really nice. So we'll put them to one side and add them later. So all that's left to do now is to get her out of the box. So we'll start with the logo first. Carefully pushing her out of the hole. And just place it down for a little second. I'll move that over there a little bit. And so it's wrapped up in this tissue paper, which I hate, famously, as you all know. Wow, there she is. So, we'll just scrunch that up into a ball and throw it away. And then we'll pick up the locomotive again and bring her back into the camera, close up. Now, I have washed my hands because I'm not going to get grubby fingerprint marks on this beaut. And this is it. This is the livery. And I'm sure all your reactions are now, well, what the hell is that? This is not a livery. It just looks like it's been dipped in a bowl of bird's custard. Trust me, this is a livery they did carry in real life. The only problem is I have not been able to find any photographs of the real life locomotives wearing this livery. But then, fair play, this was a livery they would have worn in World War II. Now, I know that not everybody is going to like this livery. That is for certain. But you know, I don't really care if you don't like it or not. Because I really like it. And that is partially one of the reasons why I got it. Because I really like the livery. Because this locomotive is unique and special. It's unique because of the livery it's in. Because out of all the steamers I own, none of them except for this one is in a livery like this. Because all the others, they're either in BR black, LMS black, LNR black, apple green, Coronation Garter blue, LMS maroon, BR Brunswick green, whatever. This one isn't in any of those liveries, so it stands out from the crowd basically. And also, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7 or 8, I remember looking on the Bachmann website with my dad, looking at this actual loco and thinking, wow, I want that. And so the years have gone by, I'm now 18, coming on to 19, see I'm getting on, and I'm holding this model in my hands. And I've got such a big grin on my face. You can't see it obviously, but trust me, I am. In fact, it's such a big grin, it's actually lifting off my face. And this model is also special because it's rare. Oh yeah, trust me, it is. And it's not the only WD Bachmann have made that is rare. There are a few others that are rare as well. There's an LMR blue one. That was a limited edition, but that's rare. Because the thing is with Bachmann's limited editions, once they're sold out, they are very, very hard to get hold of. So that is why they become rare. There's also a green one with WD written on the tender. That is also, well, I know that one is definitely rare, because that one is considered mega rare by some model shops and trade stands. You see it, these model railway expeditions. And then there's this one. Now the only reason I state this one is rare is because I have never seen many of these models about. Excuse the pitter pattering on the roof there. I have never seen many of these stocked in model shops. I have never seen many on the internet. That is why when S&J Models sold this one, I grabbed it. In fact, that is the main reason why I bought this one, because it's rare. I just had to do it. And there are no videos of this on YouTube either. And I have looked, and there's none. So this is the first one to be published on YouTube. And also, I've only seen one model railway with this actual livery WD on it. And that is the one that's expeditioned at highly during steam galas. But that's the only layout to see one of these livery WDs on. I've never seen any more. So what does that go to show you? And I bet, out of everyone that has a WD, I don't think many of them have theirs in this livery. I would put a bet on it. Because it's such unique. There can't have been many of these made. Because I would have thought they'd be more common to get hold of. But then it is discontinued, so what would you expect? But anyway, enough about talking how rare this is, how special it is, and etc. Let's get on with the detail. So the first thing that I'm going to mention is the weight. And I'm surprised my hand has not been crushed to the floor with how long I've been holding this model. Because it is quite heavy. But that's important, we want the weight, because it helps create the traction. And I would say this model is the same weight as the Bachmann 9F, which can easily pull 50 wagons and coaches without a problem, which is more than what can be said for the railroad range models. But I've also heard that the WDs as well from Bachmann are strong as well. And that's good, because WDs and 9Fs were famous in the heydays for pulling 100 wagons or so. So that is really good. We have... Is that an end socket? No. There's no end socket. But then again, I have no course or intention to replace the coupling anyway. So that's alright. There's rivets on the buffer beam and the loco's running number. As you can see. Now I have made a slight mistake. I said on the box that WW2 was its running number, when as a matter of fact the loco's real running number is 7199. So I apologise for that, but it's an easy mistake to make, considering that I did not put the running number on the box. You've also got the little holes where the detail has to go, and sprung metal buffers, as you would expect. There's lamp irons on the model, and I love how they're painted black. You've also got detail on the smoke box door there. You have a lamp iron and the smoke box door handles to open it up to clear the firebox out. On this model, the smoke box door doesn't open, but then it doesn't really need to. The chimney as well is very nicely detailed, and I love the fact that the locomotive smoke box and chimney is painted black, and the cab, and all the rest is painted in Desert Sand livery, and that is really good. You've also got fine metal handrails going down the side, which are painted black. You've got some detailing at the top here, which is very nice, and there's even rivets on the boiler as well. There's not lots of rivets, but there is some, as you can see. The dome is very nicely detailed as well. You've also got safety valves there as well. And then you've got this curious thing, which I think could be the whistle of some sort. I don't know. Then you've also got this detail in here, which do be careful with it because it is fragile. You've also got rivets on the cab side as well, and on the top, with a vent that doesn't open, but then it doesn't really need to. You've got some more detailing down here, which is very nice, and some small grab irons there as well at the side. There's rivets on the cylinders as well, and they are nicely moulded as well, and detailed of course, and painted. Then you've got all the link motion as well. Just look at that, how it's done. It's not linkage. I don't know where that word came from, but it's not the technical term for it. Call it link motion. That's the valve gear. Link motion will be this part, and then you've got the side rods. Just refer it to as that basically, it's simple. And I love the fact how the wheels are painted in the same livery as the loco's body as well. But they have white trims as well. And it really makes them stand out as well. They've got some more detailing along here as well. That's the reversing lever. That is. as you can see, and it's very nicely detailed. Then you've got the neck holders there, which are also painted desert sand, which is very nice. Wow. This is one very detailed locomotive, I have to say. Then if you just gently swing the locomotive around, you've got the Westinghouse pump there as well, which is nice. And accurate, like it should be. Not all WDs had them, but some did. And I like how that's painted in desert sand livery as well. Then you've got some more handrails there as well, and rivets on the cab sides. More link motion. And valve gear. There is some glazing in the cab windows. And rivets at the top there as well, as you can see. Wow. Very impressive. Then you've also got this, which is the drawbar tender connection, which has two holes, which basically it's to do with the space between the loco and the tender. That hole basically has a gap between the loco and the tender, where that hole there, it's close connection basically. And then what do we like for the cab? Now it is there, but it's not painted, as you can see. But then you can paint it yourself, and that is what I shall do. But it's not a problem, or a criticism, because you can do it yourself. It's not rocket science. You know, if some people want to complain about it, that's up to them, but it doesn't really detract the model. Wow. So, we've looked at the locomotive in detail. Now we'll look at the tender. Okay, so here's the tender. Yeah. So we had this big black piece of plastic on the back to help secure it in place in transit. So what can we say about the tender? Well, for what it is, it's not too heavy, but then it's not too light. It's the right weight, like it should be. And so that's nice. So where do we start? Well, for starters, the livery, which is the Khaki Desert sand, is accurate, like it should be on the tender, and it matches as well. You've got very small WD printing on both sides as well, which is a nice touch. Bad focus there. There's no rivets on the tender, but then WDs didn't have rivets on the tenders anyway. You've got rivets on the underframe of the tender. In fact, actually, that's what I forgot to mention. Even the underframe on the model is painted in Khaki Desert sand as well. And that is just so nice. In this case, with the axle boxes and springs, they're all painted in the same livery, which is desert sand. And that is really nice. This livery might seem unoriginal to some, but I really like it. Then again, you've got the desert sand livery wheels with the white trims on them, or wheel walls, whatever you want to call them. You've got some steps there as well, which is very nice, and grab irons, or handrails, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't really matter. You've got some detail inside the tender, as you can see, such as small coal in the chute there, and these handles which transfer water from the tender into the loco. Then you've got this detailing here at the top, followed by these small grab irons at the top as well, which is very nice, and they're put on separately as well, they're not moulded. You've got a ladder at the back, and these lamp irons as well, which are painted black, just like it was with the ones on the front. And that is really nice because it makes them stand out more so you can see them, which is really nice. There's some more rivets on the buffer beam and sprung buffers at the back, because the front ones were, obviously. And we have an M coupling at the back in this one as well, which you can actually remove because it has the dovetail, as you can see. And that is obviously where the tender connects to the loco, which you slot through there and it clips into there. Now, is the coal removable? It could be. Hold on a sec. Right, so since I've got no fingernails, we'll use this needle. Yes, there we go. The coal is removable, so I shall get some real stuff put in there, but that'll be for later. If I could criticise the coal, it's these little slots here, in which it slots into the sides there. And that is quite annoying, because it's the same story with the B1. It makes the coal harder to remove. Question is, will it go back in? Because with the B1, you can't stick it back in. Because the coal for the little chute at the front is attached to this big piece of coal here. That's not the case with the WD, so hopefully it will be easy to put back in. And it is. Well done, Bachmann, for doing that. Hornby, why you couldn't is beyond me. But wow. What else is there to say about this model? It's just an absolute beast. This model will definitely be special on the layout. Trust me. It's just a beaut. I'm so glad I went for this livery one, because there's not many of them about, and it really looks the part on the layout and the collection. But anyway, let's put it on the tracks and see how she runs, because that's the important thing. Right, so here we are at the track, and we are going to put the WD and it's tendered onto the rails. Now I have already connected it, and it's not exactly easy to do, but for what it does the job well. Okay, so it's on. Oh, hang on. Excuse me a sec. Just discovered there's a little bit of polystyrene there. Right, it's out. Don't know why I did that, but still. Must be some sort of OCD. Right, so there she is. So just zoom in a little bit, like that. We can give her some juice. And there she goes. Now she's not going very fast, I know, but it's WD, and they didn't really speed around exactly in reality, because they were freight locomotives after all. But you know, she's running very smoothly, and Captain Slow would be certainly happy. But wow, this is such a beautiful engine. Just look at it. This comes passing the diesel depot with all 4 Class 20s parked up. Let's just get a look at that link motion moving. Wow. And there she goes under the bridge. Over the level crossing and through the tunnel. And so you should see her come out the other end. Here she comes, passing Lady of the Lake, waiting in the siding for its next call of duty. Passing the signal box, and passing through the station where Pride of the Fleet, Commonwealth of Australia, looks on at the new arrival passing through. And I think the pride of the fleet is impressed. Wow, what else is there to say about it? Well, nothing. I just can't pick any fault with it. Yes, I know it has no cab detailing painted, but then so what? I know that's going to annoy the critics that like everything to be perfect, but who cares? We don't need them. But wow, she's an absolute stunner. And out of all the steamers available to buy on the market, this one has more characters to it than any other steamer you'll find, such as a 9F, Black 5, 8F, whatever. running performance, detail and liveries. You need a WD. Everyone does. Even if your house is just full of diesels, you need one. I would recommend going for, well, either a green one or an LMR blue one, or even this one if you can find it. Because this livery, in my opinion, is more appealing to VR black, because it just seems a bit bland and boring. And I know I've not coupled this locomotive up to any train in this review, but you shall see in upcoming videos pulling long freight trains. But she easily gets a 10 out of 10 in my books. She's just excellent.